Is worth the hype in El Salvador? Well, today we'll discuss. Welcome to Continental Insider, the offshore consulting service for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, and related internationals with a boots-on-the-ground approach. For more information, please check out continentalinsider.com. El Salvador has become one of the countries to use for investors, especially for crypto investors. And El Salvador had a 180 transformation since the past 5-6 years, basically since the arrival of the president Nayib Bukele, that not only has become a very important figure worldwide in geopolitics and so on, but also he has become basically the face of the whole country that basically wasn't that much talk about until, of course, Bukele arrived to the presidential power in El Salvador. So today we are going to discuss what El Salvador is all about and if I'm actually bullish on El Salvador itself. The first thing that we have to talk about regarding El Salvador is safety. El Salvador has gone from being one of the most dangerous countries all over the world to being actually one of the safest countries in the world. And according to some ranks and some statistics, El Salvador is right now safer than Switzerland, believe it or not. And well, what happened on that particular regard? Before Bukele arrived to presidential power in El Salvador, the country was basically run by these particular gangs called Maras. We have the MS-18 and the MS-13. These gangs have a particular modus operandi, using extortion and things like that, drug dealing and so on. And also they have these particular tattoos that identify people that belong to these particular gangs. Now, what happened is before Bukele arrived, these Maras control everything, basically, not all, but most of the neighborhoods and so on. So basically had a de facto territorial control on the lives of the average citizen of El Salvador. So it was a very dire situation. Also, there is a lot of Salvadorian migrants all over the world, mostly on the United States. And actually, these particular gangs were born on the United States. Well, that's a story for another day. Anyways, when Bukele arrived on 2019, since his first main goal was to attack these particular organizations, and he did it with flying colors. Basically, he put in prison around 70,000 of these particular gang members, basically most of them, and just a couple of years span, El Salvador became very, very peaceful, and actually that trickled down to the rest of the economy and society overall. And of course, there are some pushback from the international community regarding the tactics used by Bukele and his army and his police corps against these particular gangs, and from NGOs and human rights organizations and so on, and Bukele just, he didn't care. He wanted to, according to him, liberate the citizens of El Salvador. So, and I'm not going to get into the politics of that, just, reporting the news, but basically that's what happened regarding safety. The other reason why Bukele and El Salvador are very popular worldwide, especially amongst Western investors, is thanks to cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin. Well, what happened is that Bukele first encouraged the adoption of Bitcoin within El Salvador, the Salvadorian economy. and even start using public funds in order to purchase Bitcoin and use it as some sort of store of value and strategic reserve for the Salvadorian finances. And of course, that generated a lot of controversy because we know that the Bitcoin price is very volatile and that can have, some issues regarding fiscal and financial structures, but that particular gamble on Bitcoin has worked pretty well. For El Salvador, right now, Bitcoin just recently reached an all-time high price after Trump's election. That is also a pro-Bitcoin president. Well, anyways, but also Bukele has invested on the infrastructure in order to be able to use Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. There are a bunch of Bitcoin ATMs, and most businesses in El Salvador have the particular POS in order to accept Bitcoin as a payment method. And of course, that brings some issues regarding, the price volatility yet again. So Bitcoin has made famous El Salvador, and many people are going over there, maybe in order to do some networking or just check it out, and also maybe just tourism. The country is beautiful, has a beautiful Pacific coast, mountains, and so on. Now let's get to the brass tacks of El Salvador. I'm bullish on it. Should you invest on it or speculate or something like that? Well, I'm in the middle actually. And first, this is not financial advice. It's just, food for thought. This is just my opinion. From what I'm seeing right now on El Salvador regarding, and this is strictly financials and investments and things like that. What I'm seeing right now in El Salvador is, this is just for my taste, is right now that is overpriced for any particular investment. Here's why: because all of this bullish trend that we see worldwide to El Salvador is also the sentiment on the street for the average citizen of El Salvador. So many people are pricing in already the projects for the future today. So if you are looking to speculate or do value investing on El Salvador, I don't see it happening. So the prices are, let's say, quote unquote, overpriced, real estate and things like that, because they already have the price of the future, not the price of today. So from the value investment standpoint, El Salvador might not be the best place. Also, the investing that is going to El Salvador, of course, a lot of good things to say if you are fully invested in El Salvador. So I think if everything goes well, and right now I don't see a reason why not. On the future, yeah, of course, if you're going to be fully invested and develop something within that country, very cool. Most likely it has a good probability of everything going right. However, if you are speculating, doing value investing, or you just want, blood on the street prices, yeah, that's gone. El Salvador is not going to be the place for you. Also, regarding the passport, that actually right now El Salvador has a particular CBI program, Citizenship by Investment, using Bitcoin. So basically, you give out $1 million on BTC in order to get the Salvadorian passport. But for my taste, I think it's very overpriced because, I'm talking on the CBI market. For instance, Malta has a similar price and is a better passport than a Salvadorian passport. Anyways, that's up to you. Now, regarding crypto, if you are very invested in crypto and Bitcoin and so on, maybe El Salvador is for you. Of course, takes, the boots on the ground approach. I'm hearing a lot of good things regarding crypto, Bitcoin development, networking, also regarding investment on real estate, but are projects for the future. So it's not like you're gonna buy some cheap property. So if you're a real estate flipper, El Salvador might not be for you. So a lot of good news coming from El Salvador for investors and also for the average Salvadorian citizen. So very good on them. But in order to buy very cheap for the future, and it's gonna be like a meme stock, like a meme coin that you're gonna make 10x, 20x, 100x, something like that. I don't see it happening, but if you are bullish on El Salvador and you fit a particular profile, yeah, El Salvador has a lot of interesting things for you, maybe. Thank you for watching Continental Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media, and if you want to work with us, continentalinsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.